as far as politics is concerned, there is a lot happening in the country. Since the Gen Z revolution began, it's believed it has been hijacked, and so it's not yet clear whether Raila Odinga is in government or not. However, as my director Joanne will now show you this clip, already a section of Azimio or ODM party members have expressed their disgruntlement as far as the whole issue of Odinga being part of the government is concerned. Let's listen in.
Henceforth, I'm the chief opposition leader because there are so many jokes doing rounds. There are so many people who are in the opposition who are now in bed with the government. My interest is to fight for Kenyans. The new face of cabinet does not meet any demand, not of the Gen Zs, not obeying even the two-third gender rule as enshrined in the Constitution, as envisaged in the Constitution. It goes against the tenets of the apex of the law clearly, and I told you, even persons with disabilities are not considered. The only disability that President has considered is mental disabilities that he has decided to nominate in the cabinet. We want other persons with disabilities to be considered. I cannot accept any position from President Ruto. No, thank you. And that is a fruit from a poisoned tree. The fruit is poisonous and harmful and dangerous. Going by the doctrine of separation of powers, checks and balances, as was opined by Charles Louis, de Secondat, de Montesquieu, de Baron, that our work is to provide oversight roles. I wanted to be the park chairman then. Now I'm overqualified to be a park chairman. And I say, no, thank you.
There is now a self-declared chief opposition leader.
I thought the opposition leader in Kenya is Baba. So
there is now Babu.
There is no
so
Babu.
Exit Baba, enters Babu.
In the hierarchy order,
it's higher than Baba. I think Babu is just being overambitious as a politician. It's allowed. Baba hasn't declared that he's not the chief opposition leader. As we know, the minority wing is being led by ODM. So he's still the leader of opposition, as it may. Again, one thing I would want to agree with Babu is that when part of our leadership, remember 2 of the deputy party leaders have been nominated for various positions within the cabinet. And like that is not enough, the president went ahead and also picked the minority leader, and just to rubber stamp his authority, also picked the park chair. So in one way, he's trying to weaken the opposition within parliament. That is very clear, because some of these positions are given on merit and people who can really stand firm on principle, which again, we are not seeing the two doing. Especially Honorable Pio Wandai and Honorable Mbadi. Because if you remember the platform on which Azimio campaigned, we were pro-people party. And if you look at the Kenya Kwanza bottom-up agenda, there were so many things on the plan that Azimio team did not like because on the implementation matrix of those. So it's like they've lost. They are not people you'd call men of principle, because they're the very same people. If you play clips and you listen to what they've been saying about how the KK government has been run and all that kind of stuff, and even that is not enough. We just saw what happened with when Baba shook hands with the President Uhuru Kenyatta. So we carried the burden of that administration forward.
And it costed
Baba a lot, an election and a win. So if we see the top leadership again joining KK government, are we again going to carry the burden and the shame and all that people have attributed on bad leadership and governance on this administration to Azimio? In as much as people think Azimio is dead, but I think Baba has spoken loud. I think he did a press statement yesterday.
I'll be highlighting it shortly.
Yes.
Muthiora,
Yes.
you know, Babu Owino seems to now capitalize on the fact that there is a vacant office. ODM, you know, from its chairman, 2 deputy party leaders,
Yes.
to the, of course, the chairman is also the park chair,
Yes.
and as well the minority leader. So is it, or would that move by Babu Owino
Yes.
have a political impact, especially, you know, in ODM, and the supporters now, the Gen Zs, rally behind him rather than, you know, Odinga, who they consider a traitor?
What we know is when the dust settles, the ODM party will write Babu Owino a very stern warning letter or summon to come explain. We've seen them do this before when one of their own went outside of what the fold had decided. But then a vacuum has been created and Babu is stepping in. And he should be supported for that matter. You should read the list again and have Kenyans see that among the nominees, we have the ODM chair, we have the ODM first deputy party leader and second deputy party leader, and then we have the highest ranking member of ODM in parliament or in the National Assembly, switching sides from the minority side to work for the majority side. We have created a mongrel of a National Assembly, so to speak, bringing confusion to the whole structure that had been envisioned by our Constitution. So when Babu comes out to call things as they really are, he should be supported, he should be joined by all of us who want what's best for this country, and we should ask Raila Amolo Odinga to call his house to order.
Eric, you know, legally, just looking at what is happening, of course, the 4 that have been nominated by President William Ruto to join his cabinet should resign. Odinga also should resign when going for the AUC position. The office seems vacant. Then is it proper for, you know, leaders like Babu to come out fronting or vouching for themselves to get those positions? Or it will be considered as a coup?
You know, politics is a game of always seeking to advance yourself politically and also with any other interest that you may have. And so what you see Babu doing is just posturing, the normal political posturing that is there. But there is no doubt whatsoever that there is turmoil in ODM. There is no doubt whatsoever that there is turmoil generally in the political climate in this country. And the next few days or the next 1 year may actually tell us which direction we are going. When you need to look into this in context, because Babu is the younger leaders, and if you were to extrapolate it, you'd want to ask yourself, between Opio and I, for example, and Babu, who has a longer quote-unquote political life, if everything is to remain constant, so that Opio and I, for example, is a leader of a regime that is past gone or is on its way out. Babu is now no longer the leader of the future. He's a leader of today and going into the future. And if what I foresee happening is that there is likely to be a lot of political realignment with the younger politicians who have a longer stake in this country probably coming together, because they are a generation that can appeal to the largest voter segment in this country. Yeah. And just look at what has happened in Britain, for example. They have had younger and younger members being elected into parliament. In France, the same thing has happened. Yeah. And I foresee that situation happening, because it is getting to a point where relating to people like the Johos and whatever, at a certain point, that is losing relevance. So the only way, and I saw there was quite a bit of celebration across the entire country when there were several people elected in Mombasa and in Homa Bay. But there's one question I wanted to review that vis-a-vis the reception that those who voted no for the finance bill in regions that were would be pro-UDA. If you look at the reception then, it will tell you that there's something that is probably happening in this country, because those MPs who defied the UDA party and voted no were so well received, and it was spontaneous, it was not organized, it was not mobilized, it was genuine appreciation of a member of parliament standing with his people. But what happened in Homa Bay and whatever, to a certain extent, you can tell, is a mobilized crowd. And that's a difference. And that is something that we'll have to now look at and see. And the first indication, the first litmus test, will be the vetting that will be conducted in Parliament. And thereafter, the decisions, some of the decisions that now these people will begin to make, and the direction that the ODM party is going to take going into the future. That is what is going to define our politics going into the future.
It's believed that members who voted yes in support, of course, of the finance bill 2024, some of them have never stepped in their constituencies and already back from their short recess. Now, there is this statement by Raila Odinga, and Rachel, this is actually your question. Raila Odinga has now, stated that I have taken note of President William Ruto's announcement regarding the reconstitution of the cabinet to include 4 members from ODM. As articulated in a statement on Tuesday, that is July 23rd, 2024, neither the ODM party nor Azimio La Umoja coalition party has entered into any coalition agreement with President Ruto's UDA party. We had anticipated the crafting of clear terms of engagement based on issues we raised in our various communiques. While we extend our best wishes to the nominees and trust that they will contribute positively to the national development, we continue to advocate for national engagement under the conditions we have previously outlined. First of all, the timeliness of this statement. Raila Odinga, interestingly, is active on X. The former President Uhuru Kenyatta, for him, he left. But why would it take more than almost 24 hours for Raila Odinga to issue a statement if at all he realizes the 4 top officials in his party had been appointed without his knowledge? Is it true that Odinga could stay that long without updating the public that reject those people? I don't know them. I don't know the plan.
One is that if for sure the party wasn't aware, there's being aware and blessing them to go to accept the positions they were nominated for. And I think that's what Baba is trying to say. I'm aware that they're going. They were called possibly and had a conversation with the president if they could pick up those positions. I'm aware. But my blessings as a party, maybe as an individual, I'm okay with with it, and that's why he's saying it's okay, well wishes, but what is the position of the party? There's the organ of the party that speaks for the party. And if you look at what Baba shared on his press and what Sifuna shared, then there's a bit of, there's something that is not right. There's no coherence in the two statements, in the sense that Baba is wishing them well. Yes, I'm wishing you well as Baba, but not as a party. Baba did not speak on behalf of ODM. If you read that letter carefully, he didn't speak on behalf of ODM. And so when the SG said before Baba that we are not aware you're going here, and if you go, you're doing it in your own volition, then I think it's merely saying we are not party to your decision, but we are aware you're going. So what I want to see as also a member of ODM is that what actions are they going to take? We have seen in the past where members going to State House have been called to showcase why they went. So the disciplinary actions taken, and some of them were even trying to recall them from their parliamentary positions. So we are yet to see if this particular, especially the two, that is Honorable Mbadi and Honorable Wandai, they do not succeed with the vetting, then are we going to see any disciplinary action taken? Because that is Baba, I believe, speaking as Baba, but not as ODM. But then what action are we going to see the party taking now that they've openly accepted? By now we should have seen, as ODM does these things, that letters, or they are being called, or they are being told, you know, this is not right, and it's going against our party ideologies and the principles of the party. So you are called to showcase why you've even accepted, now that they have accepted. Yeah, but then I would also want to say that Baba also said they don't have any form of structure of engagement with UDA. And I think that is very important, that if going forward, let us not politicize everything that happens in the country, but then let us wait for the opportune time for us to either castigate or look into the issues that arise. Because if we say that Azimio is now going to collapse because we have 4 members of ODM going to the party. Remember, ODM at one point was the largest political party in Kenya. Does it mean without these 4 individuals, then the party does not exist? Does it mean with Martha Karua exiting or planning to leave Azimio, then Azimio will not stand? So I think we need possibly to also wait and see what happens. But I think if there need be that ODM as a party decides to work together or partner with UDA, then there should be some structure that guides them. If we remember what Otieno Kajwang said, and this particularly to our people, the people who've been nominated, that fidelity to the party is very key, and faithfulness to the calling. So are we seeing our party members, especially the 2 leaders of PAC and the minority leader, now going against what they subscribe to? Within the party.
That's what you're questioning. However, Muthiora, do you feel that the 4 are not really going against the party, but they're being rewarded?
Well, I'll look at this using a political lens because I'm a politician, and immediately call out the party leader of ODM, Raila Amolo Odinga, to come from behind the curtain and own this, because there is no way these negotiations happened behind his back. They were done with his blessings, and he should just come out and own up. And while doing that, he should explain to Kenyans why ODM would take that kind of a position. He is one person who has fought for the advancement of democracy in Kenya. He should continue that fight to the grave, because it's the only way we can move Kenya forward, where we consider everyone's opinion and always allow for the majority to have their way and the minority to have their say. So the vetting process will happen. The 4 ODM members will be passed. I can tell you that for sure. ODM members in the National Assembly will okay these nominations. You can take that to the bank. That will confirm what we right now want to not say is a reality, that the four have the party's blessings. What I expect is for the ODM party to not discriminate against those who are opposed to this move that they have taken. Kenya is a multi-party democratic country, and we should be very disappointed when we have a sitting president, after trying to get a majority in parliament, both of members of the National Assembly, and right now to have a super majority in parliament has approached the party that had the second highest number in the National Assembly.
Eric, you know, Raila Odinga sounds as if there is no option to block the four who went ahead against perhaps his wish or that of ODM or Azimio by sitting here. While our best wishes, or while we extend, you know, it wasn't while I extend. While we extend our best wishes to the nominees and trust that they will contribute positively to national development, we continue to advocate for national engagement. That particular part, is it bringing forth Odinga trying to play victim, whereas he has, you know, numbers, at least also in the appointment committee, and he can even block them from that point or urge his, you know, troops to reject the four who went against his wish and that of the ODM. The statement "we," who are we?
You know, when you read that statement by Raila Odinga and the ODM party and the messaging that is coming from the ODM party, is that yes, we would want to work with government, but we are also worried that it might be a move that the public does not want. And there's been talk about ODM hijacking a movement of seeking accountability and profiting from that movement to get themselves into government. And I think that that could be the reason why they are trying to say, you know, wait a minute, these people were just approached, quote unquote, in their individual capacities, and we think of course they cannot say that they are not capable of leading because they occupied the highest ranks within the ODM party, and so by extension they must be people who are suitable to lead, because they would have been, they are like the alternative government. And so you cannot say that our top officials of the alternative government cannot lead the country. So that is I think the messaging that they are now struggling on how to deal with.
So this is Odinga perhaps trying to cleanse his name from the backlash that is there from the
not so much that, but it is also looking at 2027, because these are politicians, and political parties exist for purposes of seeking power. The UDA party as it is, if you look at even UDA in itself, UDA is also going through turmoil. It's highly unlikely that UDA as we know it will remain to the end of this term without certain posturing and changes in leadership. And I think that is what the ODM party is trying to look at, and it is asking itself, what does this mean? And it's a question that every Kenyan is looking at. Besides the obvious issues that are there, and that perhaps getting in leaders with political basis may bring some element of stability in this government, because that is probably what the president was looking at. Going into the future, people are trying to ask themselves, how relevant is this? And let me tell you, I've heard that there are few members of parliament who were asked, you know, would you consider taking this cabinet position? Would you consider this? And most of them were a little bit apprehensive about it, in the sense that, would you then be leaving your seat to come and join cabinet, and then probably affect your political career,
or you could be fired
going into the future? Probably you'll not be fired. You can clear the 3 years, but then you are a politician with ambitions of getting re-elected and going. And I think that that is also now the problem that the ODM party is having to deal with, because it is asking itself, in terms of our political future, are we going to get into some arrangement with UDA so that we can run together in the next election, or are we going to, you know, run on our own, or in a coalition with other people? And I think they want to leave their options open. They want to leave those options open so that they are able to negotiate at that particular time and not, you know, find themselves in a difficult position.
Well, at that juncture, we take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll be focusing on Martha Karua exiting the Azimio coalition. What's the impact? Also, will Azimio still stand? We'll be right back with that conversation. Stay tuned.